My name is Jill Schnieders, and this is Niki Peter, and we're both lactation consultants here at Memorial Hospital. For some of you out there who don't know us, we're both RNs here on the floor. We're both board-certified lactation consultants. We see inpatients, we also see outpatients, but we also have, one of the things that we love to do is we have a monthly support group. And in this support group, we see anywhere ranging from 15, usually about 15 moms, but we have a support group that we do weight checks, we also have frequently asked questions, and we just sit around and talk about it.
I like to go back and talk about kind of what we talk about here in the hospital with newborns. So when we see you here in the hospital, we talk about 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. is when babies feed the most. And so really the way you're going to survive is sleeping when baby sleeps. And what we say is about 6 to 8 weeks that baby will start to develop a circadian rhythm. And right now they don't have one. They don't know that they're supposed to be awake when the sun's up and sleep when the sun's down like me and you because they haven't seen the sunlight yet. So at about 6 to 8 weeks, they will develop a circadian rhythm, and they will start to become more neurologically developed where they can join 2 sleep cycles together. So instead of having to wake to feed every couple of hours, they may start to give you one 45-hour stretch. So about 6 to 8 weeks on average is when that happens. So in that first 6 to 8 weeks, reality is you're going to feed the baby in the evening time, you're going to give the baby to another caregiver, and you're going to try to sleep for a couple of hours. So you may be sleeping from 6 to 8 p.m. Baby wakes, gets ready for that cluster feed between 9 to 3, and then when they finally sleep again, they usually sleep pretty hard at that point, and then maybe you can sleep again from 3 to 5. And then, like I said, resting at any point throughout the day. And so this time is actually a really great time for you because you don't have a lot of people coming into your home that you feel like you have to entertain when you have a newborn. So take advantage of that and rest when the baby rests.
Learn to love naps. It's my favorite thing.
And then, as the baby grows, you get through that 6 to 8 week phase. Oh my goodness, all of a sudden, maybe he or she slept 4 or 5 hours. You feel like a new woman. Yeah, the first few nights it happens, your breasts are going to be engorged. But over time, your supply will start to adjust to that. And Jill will talk about that here in a little bit too, about another question we got from a mom about when to start pumping. And so she'll address that as a good time to start doing that as well. But mostly it's kind of like a roller coaster ride and kind of just enjoying that ride, because just when your baby gets into a groove and maybe starts sleeping well and all is well in the world, they may hit either a growth spurt or a sleep regression. And so we can drive ourselves crazy sometimes trying to fix things or make it better, where a lot of times you just have to ride those waves and get through it. So sleep is a very tough subject. Sleep when the baby rests. Try to get a couple hours of sleep before you go to bed, a couple hours in the wee morning, and do the best you can.
And we promise it will get better. But another thing that we get questions about are those cluster feeding nights. So another little tip that we like to give is, if baby's had a good effective feed, has nursed, maybe even gone side to side again, if you wait a little bit, if you can stay awake in that time, let baby kind of suckle at the breast, let them kind of relax, let them kind of fall asleep. And if you take baby off and leave baby right there, and if you can stay awake for about 15 minutes, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes for them to hit a deeper sleep. You might have more luck putting them down and having them stay down and not wake right back up. So first of all, keep in mind that you don't need a freezer full of milk to go back to work. And so you just need you need some for that day and a little bit of extra. So don't stress out about it. You don't have to build a stash, but in reality, we all know that you may feel a little bit better if you do have a stash. So a little bit of one. So what you can do about 6 to 8 weeks out, depending on your nerves, how it makes you feel or whatever, what you can do is we generally recommend first thing in the morning. That's when you're usually most full. You're going to nurse just like you normally do. You're going to nurse baby on both sides, and then you're going to pump off what baby did not. And then you're going to save that. And then the next day, and then you're gonna put it in the refrigerator. The next day, save it, do the same thing and save it. It's good in the refrigerator for 4 days, and then you can put it together and freeze it. As far as how much you should freeze this together, we usually recommend saving it in smaller increments because we don't really know yet what the baby is going to take. And that's for you and your sitter to kind of figure out as time goes on. But generally we'll say maybe some 3-ounce increments and some 2-ounce increments, even throw in a few 1-ounce increments, because we don't know. And I think Niki's going to get into that a little bit later, as well as about how much a baby should have in the bottle when you do go back to work. Another tip is that we will tell you when that time comes, you're going to nurse baby right before you leave for work, and make sure you tell your sitter when you're going to be picking the baby up so they don't feed the baby right before you get there. And so make sure you're ready to nurse whenever you get home. And some of those times, when you've been gone from baby all day long, that's a good time for you guys to relax and just enjoy that time together.
Another comment to the lower volume to freeze at one time. So when you freeze milk and you thaw it, it's good for 24 hours. And so if you freeze in smaller increments, you're much more apt to use the 2 to 4 ounces per bag than you are an entire bag full. And also it's much quicker and easier to thaw 2 to 4 ounces. Another very good question, and one we get a lot, and it's really hard to answer because just because you pump and get X amount doesn't mean that that's what baby gets at the breast, and just because you give that amount in a bottle and he's satisfied doesn't mean that's what he gets at the breast. But in general, what we've been taught by pediatricians is that from about 1 month on, they take 24 to 28 ounces in a day. So that's about 1 ounce an hour, a little bit more. And keeping in mind that breastfed babies prefer the breast, meaning they're going to take virtually just what they need to get by in the day without mom until mom gets home, and then they're going to take in their bulk of the volume for the day when they're nursing. So don't ever compare what a breastfed baby takes in a bottle to a bottle-fed baby in a bottle, because that there is very different. So I would say if the 3 ounces didn't work every 2 to 3 hours, I would say bump it up to 4. And to be honest, it's usually capped off about there. I would say that most breastfeeding moms will tell you that their babies never really took more than 4.5 ounces from a bottle ever. And that is from the time they go back generally until 12 months when they start to wean from the bottle and start to go to a sippy cup. So again, that's just a guideline. You can try it. I would say 4 ounces every 3 hours or so and just kind of see how he does with that. But like I said, try it. If it doesn't work for you, call us.
So, and also remember when you're at the sitter that around 6 months of age is when the babies will be starting solids, and then it even gets easier. So those are just different things to kind of keep in mind. It is a very hard time, especially when we're stressed out and especially whenever we're lack of sleep. But just remember, you have to keep in mind that it took you 9 months to put on this weight, and it's not going to drop. It's not going to drop just like that. So just remember that. But generally what we do tell moms is generally not to diet, but instead, try to eat healthier foods. Try to eat more nutrient-dense foods. Try to eat more vegetables, more leaner protein. If you're craving something sugary, grab some fruit. Make sure you're taking your prenatal vitamins, and just practice good, healthy eating. Make sure you're also drinking lots of water and healthy drinks that way. As far as a diet goes, they do say, 4 weeks is pretty early, and generally what they'll say is if you are going to diet, not even to start that until after 2 months of age, but what we say is talk to your OB doctor, and so whenever you go in for your OB follow-up, you can talk to them. Also remember that breastfeeding burns calories, sometimes up to 200 and 500 calories a day, so keep on breastfeeding, keep eating that healthy diet, go out for some exercise, and that's what I would focus on.
Always needing donors, especially at this time. What they require is that you will be able to donate 100 ounces before the baby's 2nd birthday. We here at Memorial are a depot, meaning we are a spot for you to come drop your milk, and then we ship it to them and they supply it to hospitals and NICUs throughout the Midwest. And it's a very simple process to become a donor. You can simply go to themilkbank.org, and there's a number there that you can contact them and talk to the mother donor coordinator, and she'll do a phone screening with you to make sure that there's nothing that would disqualify you, like they'll ask you about meds or things like that. And then they will have your doctor sign off on both you and baby, and then they will send you a blood kit, and you just come to our outpatient lab to draw that, and that is of no fee, and you don't register or anything like that. So we're always looking for donors.
The milk that you donate is so important, because the milk that you donate to us, we ship that to the milk bank in Indianapolis. They pasteurize it, sterilize it, and they ship it out to the most at-risk babies, those especially in NICUs, early babies, where getting that breast milk is very dependent on their health. We really enjoy our check-in time, and if any of you are out there and have been to our check-in time, you know that we really have a good time, and I think it's nice because we form relationships, and we enjoy seeing you, and we enjoy seeing your little ones and how they progress. We see a lot of you that they're not only your first child, but your second child, sometimes your third, and so because we have been doing this for a few years, so it is nice, and it's nice to see how you guys, not only how your little ones grow, but how you grow as mothers, because that's what we really enjoy seeing. I know that's my favorite part.